The early light of dawn painted the Himalayan peaks in hues of pink and gold. Inside the Indian Air Force control room, a low hum filled the air. Rows of screens glowed, monitored by watchful eyes. The air was thick with the tension of constant vigilance. This was the line of control, a scar across the roof of the world, dividing India and Pakistan. Suddenly a sharp beep sliced through the quiet hum. An operator's head snapped up, eyes glued to the radar screen. A blip, unidentified and moving fast, was closing in on Indian airspace. Fingers danced across keyboards, confirming the threat. Unknown aircraft were approaching the line of control. The air crackled with urgency.
Scramble interceptors!
The order echoed through the room, setting off a flurry of activity. Within seconds, the roar of jet engines shattered the morning calm. 2 Indian Air Force fighters, a Rafale and a Su-30, screamed into the sky, powerful silhouettes against the rising sun. Their mission: intercept and identify the intruders. High above the snow-capped peaks, the Indian fighters sliced through the thin air. The pilots, their faces grim beneath their oxygen masks, scanned the horizon. The radar warning receiver screamed, indicating they were locked onto by enemy radar. Tension crackled in their headsets.
Bogies spotted!
2 dark shapes, sleek and menacing, materialized from the glare of the sun. They were J-10Cs, advanced fighters, their presence a stark reminder of China's growing influence in the region. The lead pilot reacted instantly.
Engage, engage!
He roared, pushing his fighter to its limits. The sky became a blur of motion as the aircraft twisted and turned, each pilot vying for a positional advantage. The fate of nations hung in the balance, suspended between the azure sky and the unforgiving mountains below. Across the border, at a Pakistani airbase nestled in a hidden valley, the atmosphere was electric. Pilots, clad in their flight suits, sprinted towards their waiting aircraft. The roar of their own jets, J-10Cs supplied by their Chinese allies, was a sound of both reassurance and impending conflict. These pilots were the best Pakistan had to offer, trained to a razor's edge. Their aircraft, the pride of the Pakistan Air Force, were armed with the latest Chinese missiles, a potent symbol of the shifting balance of power in the region.
Scramble, scramble!
The order came, echoing through the comms. The Pakistani pilots didn't hesitate. They climbed into their cockpits, the air thick with the smell of jet fuel and anticipation. With a thunderous roar, the Pakistani jets blasted into the sky, a steel eagle answering the call of war. The air battle erupted with terrifying speed. High above the contested peaks of Kashmir, Indian and Pakistani jets engaged in a deadly dance. Missiles flashed through the sky, leaving trails of smoke and fire. The roar of engines and the shriek of twisting metal echoed across the valleys. The Indian Rafale, known for its agility, twisted and turned, desperate to shake the Pakistani fighter on its tail. The Su-30, bristling with long-range missiles, unleashed a volley, aiming to keep the enemy at bay. But the Pakistani J-10Cs were more than a match. Their pilots, trained by the best China had to offer, flew with precision and aggression. Then, it happened. A blinding flash lit up the sky. One of the Indian jets, hit by an enemy missile, erupted in a ball of fire. The pilot had no time to react, no chance to eject. His aircraft, a burning torch, plummeted towards the unforgiving mountains below. Thousands of miles away, deep within a secure facility, American intelligence analysts watched the unfolding drama with detached fascination. Satellite feeds streamed live into the darkened room, providing a real-time view of the air battle raging over Kashmir.
We've got a visual on the engagement,
the analyst announced, her voice tight.
Pakistani J-10Cs confirmed. 2 Indian fighters, 1 down, no parachute.
The news hung heavy in the air. The implications were clear. A Chinese-made fighter jet had just shot down an Indian plane. This was not just a regional skirmish. It was a dangerous escalation with the potential to draw in global powers. The analysts exchanged grim looks, knowing this was just the beginning. In the heart of New Delhi, the news of the downing of the Indian fighter jet spread like wildfire. Journalists scrambled, phones pressed to their ears, desperate for information. The Prime Minister's office, however, remained an impenetrable fortress of silence. The press conference, when it finally came, was a masterclass in ambiguity. The government spokesperson, his face carefully neutral, confirmed an incident had occurred along the line of control. He refused to elaborate on the details, citing operational security. The silence from Delhi was deafening. It spoke volumes about the government's dilemma. To acknowledge the loss, especially at the hands of Chinese-supplied jets, would be to invite public outcry and demands for retaliation. Yet, silence also conveyed weakness, a tacit admission of vulnerability that emboldened their rivals. India, once a regional powerhouse, seemed to be struggling to find its footing in this new, more volatile world. The downing of the Indian fighter jet sent shockwaves across the globe. News channels ran 24/7 coverage, the incident dominating headlines and sparking heated debates. Experts weighed in, dissecting the tactical details of the engagement and speculating on the geopolitical fallout. Social media exploded. Nationalist rhetoric flared on both sides, fueled by rumor and speculation. The hashtag #Kashmir conflict trended globally, a grim reminder of the region's volatile history and its potential to ignite a wider war. The world held its breath. The balance of power in South Asia, always delicate, seemed to be tilting precariously. The old animosities, long suppressed, were resurfacing, fueled by mistrust, ambition, and the deadly efficiency of modern weaponry. In Beijing, the mood was celebratory. The news of the J-10C's success was greeted with a mixture of pride and barely concealed triumph. State-controlled media hailed it as a victory for Chinese technology, a testament to their growing military might. The message was clear. China, once content to operate in the shadows, was now ready to assert itself on the world stage. Their military hardware, battle-tested and increasingly sophisticated, was finding eager buyers across the globe. The dragons were no longer content to slumber. They were spreading their wings, casting a long shadow over the established order. The world watched, wary and uncertain, as the dragon's fire illuminated the clouds. Days later, as the dust settled on the aerial clash, a heavy silence descended over the Himalayas. The mountains, silent witnesses to centuries of conflict, stood shrouded in mist, their jagged peaks lost in the swirling clouds. The incident had changed everything and nothing. The line of control remained, a scar on the landscape, a constant reminder of the fragility of peace. The fog of war had descended once more, obscuring the truth, blurring the lines between right and wrong, victory and defeat. The world moved on, its attention drawn to other crises, other conflicts. But in the shadow of the mountains, the memory of the clash lingered, a silent echo of thunder in the thin air. The question was not if such an incident would happen again, but when, and the next time the world might not be so lucky.